are that I really bought into the multiple perspectives part, or looking awry, because we need to constantly examine everything we do when we surround ourselves with good people. We can work together to move the organization toward improvement. I do not know how far we should go to emancipate individuals within the organization, but it definitely needs to be addressed. I can see the viewpoint that if people do not feel comfortable contributing to the organization in thoughts or in their deeds, then we have basically lost a valuable human resource. Depth analysis is something I think we need to be aware of. I don't know how comfortable I feel with trying to do that, but because it takes a lot of investigation for a leader to realize what's going on underneath the system or underneath the surface of the organization. I'm also not comfortable with the first two cornerstones, the freedom and depth analysis, because I'm not a very patient person. So change in school settings takes so long. I don't really have time for that. I kind of have a vision for what I want to get done, and sometimes I just want to go forward with my ideas. So, but I know, like in certain areas such as school improvement goals, I need to have buy-in. So also, we have a certain saying from my superintendent, Mr. Stephen Gookins: we pay people to work, and you have to work to get paid. So I'm not so sure that I've done a very good job at looking at the feelings of my employees as much this year, and address those needs and find out what's going on below the surface of our organization. But I think that's the two areas that I would need to kind of grow in if I'm going to be a successful superintendent someday and be more successful as a principal. So I just have a hard time with stuff underneath the surface. I want to be open to my workers in the school setting. I want them to know that I have an open door policy. When we talk behind doors, that's where it stays. So this idea of depth analysis just doesn't sit too well, and I'm not real comfortable with it. Question number 5, quality of supporting data or evidence. I think Simon Western does a good job of providing an adequate number of references to basis thesis of critical theory. Some of the evidence is a little dated, but it appears these sources are of sound theory. My only critical view of the evidence is the psychoanalysis theory, or depth analysis, which has been under critical examination since its inception. We can only make assumptions on how much unconscious desires and emotions dictate our behaviors. It is good practice to be aware of these under the surface aspects within our organization, but in my viewpoint, it is the leader's job to grasp the climate and culture of the organization, and if there is stuff underneath the surface, to bring them up to the forefront as much as possible. The influence of context and conclusion, which is basically questions 6 and 7. This chapter was fairly difficult to analyze on the first read, and I had to continually go back and think of examples where I could apply the meaning. That is why I've included the summary at the beginning of the critique of this chapter, because I have no idea if I'm on the right track, and it is up to my colleagues to help me out with my viewpoints on Simon Western's critical theory. I think I've made some good assumptions in my written evaluation, and I will look forward to input from different perspectives of my colleagues. I have intentionally not asked for input about my posting ahead of time, as I'm a risk taker, and I hope that I am on to a critical review that will help stimulate intellectual discussions. I believe the audience is appropriate for the context. I think that all my experience and education level has helped me to internalize all the information and be able to communicate my thoughts to my peers. I think this chapter is written for a limited audience that focuses on highly educated and seasoned leaders. I have found myself challenging my own beliefs, but I have not abandoned them. Rather, I'll be looking to synthesize the information and grow from the new knowledge gained and keep on molding my leadership style. In my master's degree, which I received from Ball State, I had a couple of high quality professors that emphasize the multiple perspectives of wearing different hats when we are put into leadership positions. That part, or looking awry, was very comfortable to me, along with systemic praxis, as that is what I am doing on a continuing basis in my position as principal at Milan High School. I know that I need to grow as a leader and understand that an organization grows and improves. Let me read that again. I know that I need to grow as a leader in understanding that an organization grows and improves when we meet the needs of our people in terms of emancipation and depth analysis. I now need to remain open to those parts of critical theory, and I'm sure they will improve as my skills as a leader improve. So again, I'm going to try to get this video posted along with my written critique that goes into things a little bit more in depth. This is my first video, ELAF 710. Thank you and have a great day.